probably not happy with the kick, but he loves the lead.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to TSN Tonight. I'm Darren Detition. An old-fashioned beating's being handed out at Skydome. We'll get you back to the football game in a moment or two. Now, nobody's beat up the baseball this year quite like Mark McGwire. He is on a record-setting pace. He's trying to eclipse Roger Maris's record of 61 homers set way back in 1961. Big Mac, 2 dingers yesterday. How about today? A double dip against the Mets. He hits number 50 in game number 1. Then in the first inning of game number 2, McGwire goes yard again. That gave the Cards a 1-0 lead. They now lead it by a count of 4-1 in the 4th. One on for Mike Piazza, who crushes one to left over the bullpen. 2-run shot. That cuts the lead to 4-3. But obviously the story is Mark McGwire. He becomes the first player in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in 3 consecutive seasons. We will get you back to the CFL tonight.
Welcome to Nanaimo, home of the bar, and Vern Goldsberry's Midas.
Vern is an honest guy, and it's got a breath that's very minty.
Hi, I'm Vern Goldsberry, and this is my family.
Midas does a good job at a fair price and has a nice current selection of magazines.
Car care, dental care, it's all about trust.
Vern over there at Midas, he saves me quite a bit of money. It's not like I'm a philanthropist.
Right now, Midas is offering our famous front or rear disc brake service package for the incredible price of just $99.95.
Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
The Hamilton offense is on the field, but quarterback Danny McManus isn't. His night is done, 19 for 37, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He gives way to second-year man Mike Cauley. And the thing you'll notice about Mike Cauley is that face mask of his, which is reinforced structurally with some good Hamilton steel, because he suffered a broken jaw last year.
I'm trying to recall. I remember the play because I did the game, but I can't remember who hit him. But somebody absolutely drilled him on a rollout, and as you mentioned, that's the reason why he's got that extra bars on the face mask.
Cauley is 2 for 3 passing this year. Make that 3 for 4 as he swings it out for Archie Amerson. And Amerson is wrapped up by Maurice Miller. Cauley, out of James Madison University, showed a lot of promise last year, and the Ticats believe that with the right development, he'll be their quarterback of the future.
Well, he could very well be. I mean, he's got the physical tools. He's big, he's strong, and again, like any young quarterback, he needs some playing time. And you know, this last 8 minutes of this ball game is going to be some good time for him to try and learn and perfect his skills.
On second down, and look out, Cauley gets sacked. Brought down by Marcelo Simmons on second down. And so that brings up 3rd down now for the Ticats.
Well, the Toronto defense has given Hamilton so many different looks. Here's Marcelo Simmons. Most of the time he's been dropping off in coverage, but now new quarterback in, hasn't seen a lot of looks this year. They say, heck with that, we're going to come after him. Maybe that, with a 35-6 lead, maybe that's a little bit of payback for some of the talk that Hamilton made this week. They were pretty boastful about wanting to come in and kick a little you-know-what here in Toronto and pay back for last year. So a little blitz late in the game.
You-know-what?
A little butt.
Hey, attaboy. Last game, I tricked him into saying butt. Ball is Bolleston with the punt, taken by Steve Smith at the 30-yard line. Smith dancing his way ahead. Gets out of bounds at the 37-yard line. A 49-yard punt and a return of 7. 7:05 to play in the 4th quarter. The CFL Live returns to Toronto in a moment.
Centuries ago, the humble potato was praised for its nutrition and worshipped for its delicious taste. Discover the new golden standard that's making modern history. Introducing McCain Home Fries. All the deep-fried flavor of your favorite fry. Crispy outside, moist potato flavor inside. Crispy McCain Home Fries. They could change history. Taste it and believe it.
CFL football is one tough game. Touch football is one fun game. Football Canada and Football Ontario invite you to have some fun. Join one of the many adult touch football leagues across Canada. The Canadian Football League, along with Molson Canadians, support their efforts. Call Football Canada or Football Ontario and get in the game.
The greatest show on turf will blow you away this summer. See the lions, ferocious tiger cats, performing horses, and the one and only human pinball. CFL 1998. It's the greatest show on turf, radically Canadian, and radically affordable. For Toronto Argo ticket info, call toll-free 1-888-654-6529.
Back at Skydome with the retiring type. Leif Pedersen does his last game tonight.
It sounds funny to hear the word retiring. And but anyway, you know what, Gord? I want to say thank a lot of people at halftime, but John Wells and I began 12 years ago when TSN started football. And I know John's probably out in Edmonton watching this game, getting ready for his telecast tomorrow night. But John, a sincere vote of thanks to you for putting up with me for all those years. And Gord, I must say with you, I have really enjoyed our time the last few seasons working together. You're true professional. You're a great broadcaster. There's nothing that you can't do on camera. When somebody says give you an extra 30 seconds, you do it flawlessly. So my congratulations. You just pay me right now.
There you go.
My congratulations to you, and I'm going to miss it. But to you and John, thanks very much. And to all the production people at TSN, you've been wonderful, and you've put up with a lot of junk from me over the years. So
well, you know what? We owe you a lot, Leif. I know all the games of golf I lost, all the games of cards I lost.
We like that.
Yeah, so I do owe you a lot. I'll pay you back someday.
Anyway, thanks very much.
The Argos with the ball at their 47-yard line. 6:34 to play here in the fourth quarter. Joe Montford's back into the game for the Ticats. So he sat out for one series for disciplinary reasons. Now he's back after Kerwin Bell. Bell has time, steps up, finds Daryl Mitchell. Great catch down to the 50-yard line. Orlando Steinauer makes the tackle. Daryl Mitchell comes up hobbling, and that's not what the Argos need to see.
You know, you talk about a receiver and does he have athletic ability? Well, no question, Daryl Mitchell does. That is a great stretch to make the catch. Got soft hands, and on his touchdown reception tonight in the first, I believe, the second quarter of the game, great body control. This guy can do it all. Again, another 100-yard game. Nigel Williams has a 100-yard receiving game. Pinball Clements has caught 2 touchdown passes tonight. So not only is Kerwin Bell spreading it around, but his big gunners, Williams and Daryl Mitchell, again, are getting the job done.
Back to the ground on first down. Mike Clemens slashing off tackle, gets down to the 47. You know what the worst thing about taking a bus to a game, to a visiting stadium? You have to stay to the end. So you can't leave early.
I guess you're right.
I'm a big Raider fan, so I went down to the AFC Championship game the year Oakland played in Buffalo. They were the LA Raiders then. 51-3 Buffalo wins. I had to stay right to the end because the bus doesn't leave till the game's over.
Oh, no, that'd be torture. Look at these people. I mean, there is not one happy face in that group, and you're right. They want to get on that bus.
Gonna leave now?
Yeah.
Second and long now for the Argos. Bell in the shotgun. Lots of time again. Drops it off underneath for Daryl Mitchell. A foot race now as Mitchell goes up the sideline. Frank West saves the touchdown, bringing Mitchell down at the 5, a pickup of 42 yards for the league's #1 receiver.
Again, the crossing patterns for Toronto have been so successful tonight. Here's Mitchell at the top of your screen. He comes all the way across the field. You can't chase a guy that long in man-to-man coverage. The Hamilton secondary can't stay close to him, and it's a foot race. And you know what I do if I'm Kerwin Bell right now? First and goal, I go to Daryl Mitchell.
Get him a score, huh?
Yep, he's had a great night. Get him another score.
You know what you do if you're Kerwin Bell? You go to the sidelines.
Or Jay Barker.
Because they bring in Jay Barker on first and goal from the 5.
They're crossing me up in my last game. Matthews did it to me on purpose.
First and goal. Barker gives it off to Pinball, and Orlando Steinauer jumped into the backfield and stopped Mike Clemens for a loss of a couple. There's a flag down in the end zone. So Barker now making his way to the sidelines. And what is the penalty all about?
Too many men. Hamilton. First down.
Oh, my goodness. From bad to worse for the Ticats. The kind of penalties that Ron Lancaster absolutely despises. Too many men is the call. Make it first down over again, half the distance of the goal line.
You know, you have to look at these games, Gord. 6-1. They were on a huge roll. Everybody's saying how great they were. And, you know, nobody likes to lose. Lancaster will be the first to admit it. He hates to lose. But you know what? This isn't all that bad. They can regroup. They can be a little humbled. It may make them work a little harder. Deep down, maybe they didn't come into this game with the greatest effort tonight that they could have put forward. Danny McManus was very flat in the first half. But you know what? Deep down, sometimes these losses aren't all that bad. You'd never want to admit it. But through the course of a season, you know, you're going to have them. And maybe this will bring them back to reality and make them work that much harder.
Yeah, get ready for this. Offside, Hamilton again.
Doesn't matter now. It's over.
Well, Lancaster, for the first time this year, will get to blister his football team.
Well, as I said, it may not be a bad thing.
Next week, they take on the BC Lions at home, and that's followed by the Labor Day clash.
Hey, look on the bright side. It makes the East that much tighter.
Spoken like a true ex-Ticat. Parker gives it off to Clements. A flag down again. Clements in the end zone for the touchdown. If this stands, it'll be the third touchdown of the game for Clements, and all three have come with flags down against Hamilton.
Offside. Hamilton.
And it is
line.
Offside. Hamilton. Mike Clements has his third touchdown of the game. Ron Lancaster mutters to himself as the Argos go over 40.
Well, there you see it's Orlando Steinhauer, and I mean, you know, he might as well be in the Toronto backfield, no question. He's offside, and doesn't matter. Pinball Clements into the end zone, as Gord mentioned, his third of the night. Pretty good night for him. Smile just gets bigger.
Eric Bigos for the point after. He's been a part of the story as well. He puts it up and through 42-6. The Argos lead. They've got a chance to make this more lopsided than the Labor Day win of 1 year ago, and who would have thought that? Certainly not him.
I mean, I really thought we would see a tight ball game tonight, and as so often happens, when you expect it, you don't get it.
What's interesting is last week, Lancaster had the Ticats kneel down with the big lead instead of going into the end zone against Edmonton. A lot of Ticat fans were unhappy about that. They remembered as far back as the 1980 Grey Cup when Edmonton poured it on against Hamilton. The Argos showing no signs of letting up here.
No, they're not. I understand the mental makeup of Ronnie Lancaster, though, and he's not one, you know, he's been around so long, he knows what goes around comes around, and he's not about to shove it down anybody's throat.
As Johnny Cash says, that old wheel is going to roll around one day.
Absolutely. And you have to give him credit for that.
You played in that 1980 Grey Cup, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Thanks for reminding me.
What was the final score?
48-10.
And the Eskimos threw until the final gun, didn't they?
I love that game. We had such a great bunch of guys at Hamilton. Obie Graves, our running back, all week said in the papers he was going to get 200 yards rushing against the best defense in the league. You don't think that motivated them?
What did he get?
Obie got about 4 yards and didn't play in the second half.
Ronald Williams on the kickoff return gets out to the 47-yard line.
Ray Jones, the former trainer of the Ticats, has stopped into the booth, and he's nodding his head because he remembers that Grey Cup, and we got spanked.
Last year was a long season for the Ticats as one loss simply led to another. This one will lead to a 6-2 record. Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. And again, you know, you're not going to go 17-1. I mean, I think that's impossible to think that would happen. So 6-2 after 8 games. Listen, the proof of the pudding is if you said to Lancaster in training camp, would you be happy to be 6-2 after 8 games? What do you think he would have said? Delirious.
Do we have to play the games?
Sure.
Colley back to throw, dumps it off underneath, and he's got the fullback, Jarrett Smith, rather. Jarrett Smith, the player we saw last year, play for Waterloo, two-time nominee for the Heck Crichton Trophy as the outstanding player in the CIAU. And that's the 3-minute warning as the Ticats get a chance to get some of their lesser-used players in the game, and the Argos are hanging one on them big time.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Midas Car Care, the way it should be.
Gord Miller with Leif Pettersson and Allie Pettersson. Hey, Allie, say hi to everybody at home. There you go. You got an autographed football
really
there
shy, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's fun for me. I've had all the family down, mom and dad down tonight, and my wife Lee and
Can't
the
swing
girls.
a dead cat up here without hitting a Pedersen tonight.
No, it's been fun up here. They've had a great time. Allie got the football there. They haven't missed a trick. And you were down to congratulate Pinball Clements on his second touchdown, were you?
There you go.
Good for you.
I'm not sure if Allie's a Ticats fan or not. She wasn't born when you were playing.
She's a fan of yours. I know that. She calls you the Joker.
She's only human. Colley throws it off underneath, incomplete for Jared Smith. That'll bring up 3rd down for the Ticats. And suddenly the Argos are back in the thick of things in the Eastern Division.
Well, you know, it's funny. At the last break, Bob Nicholson came in, the president of the Toronto Argonauts, to just say hello and wish me well. And I said, you know, what a great win for you guys tonight. And he said, boy, did we need that. We are back in the hunt, and 4-4 is looking pretty good with outstarting the year with our #1 quarterback. So you know that the Argonauts are really going to relish this win and try to build on it. And again, for the Ticats, they'll regroup. This is a good, solid football team. They just had one of those nights. Throw away the film.
Toronto is in Winnipeg next week. Osbaldiston to Steve Smith, who slips down the 16-yard line and then gets wiped out back at the 14. Rob Hitchcock and Justin Ring got down to get him. Hey, and tomorrow night, Friday night football comes your way from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, the Blue Bombers and the Eskimos. The blackout has been lifted in Edmonton as well for that game, so fans in Edmonton will get a chance to see their Eskimos.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but when is the last time that Edmonton lost back-to-back games? I don't recall in many, many years. So they're going to be a cranky group tomorrow night, and for Winnipeg, it just doesn't get any easier, does it?
Well, back-to-back losses at home even is hard to imagine.
Well, for Jeff Reinbold and his group, they've got their work cut out for them. I think they've got receiving problems. I don't know if they can overcome that in 1 week. I see they let Eric Thompson go, so they've got to try and revamp, which is not an easy thing to do in week 8.
Mike Clemens on the carry. Clemens with 11 carries in the football game for 32 yards.
And that is the difference between this year and last year. He's carrying the mail a lot more, and I'm not sure that's the best thing for this club, but unfortunately, that's the hand they have been dealt.
What a change in personality for the Argos. Take out Robert Drummond at running back. Take out Mike Kiselak at center. Take out Doug Flutie at quarterback. Take out John Raposo, or pardon me, not John Raposo, Rob Waldrop at nose tackle. And take out Adrian Smith on the corner. That's 5 all-star players.
Oh, Reggie Gibbons, too. I mean, he was a great rush end for the club last year. And you know, you have to look at how they've overcome these obstacles. And, you know, as I said, Ron Lancaster would be thrilled at 6-2. I think the Argonauts have to be very pleased with 4-4.
Clemens again on the carry. Gonzalo Floyd able to bring him down as the clock approaches 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. What's the biggest change you've seen in the league since you retired? What are the biggest changes you've seen?
You know, it's funny. We were talking about that this morning, and honestly, I mean, schemes have changed where you go from tight end and you add the slot back. Bud Riley, I think, brought that in Winnipeg, and that's been a great intervention that's carried on through. But to me, the greatest change is really the overall team speed that you see on the field. The secondaries are faster. The receiving core, essentially 4 wide receivers playing. And to me, the biggest change in the last 15 years has just been the overall attitude of we have to have team speed, and it seems like every team has that.
No question about it. And some of that speed in evidence on the field now on special teams in every aspect of the game. Prefontaine's going to take off again. This time, will he get a kick away? No. And he takes a nasty shot from Calvin Tiggle as Prefontaine turns the ball over at the 23-yard line, and the Argos are fortunate their punter didn't get hurt as he got whacked by one of the good middle linebackers in the game.
Well, I think he had an opportunity to kick that ball away, and I'm sure when they talk about it after the game, they're going to have a few laughs because it's 42-6, but I don't think he made a great choice.
Mike Colley will remain in at quarterback. 1:48 to go here in the 4th quarter. A chance for Colley to get some much-needed time. He came into the game last week, and Lancaster said the one thing he didn't want to do was have Colley run the ball all the time because it's important for Hamilton to get the backup quarterback into the game.
Yeah, you almost feel a little guilty when you do it with a big lead, but here, way behind, there's no reason why he wouldn't throw the ball and trying to get some good reps under game conditions.
Colley completes it out there to Bobby Olive, and Olive has a gain of about 6 down to the 17-yard line. Bobby Olive out of Ohio State asked Don Southern, the defensive coordinator, if he was a part of that because Don Southern played at Ohio State and still has lots of contacts down there. He says, no, actually, I'd never heard of him. I said, really? He says, I don't really watch them much anymore. He says, it was 40 years ago. And in fact, it is 40 years ago this year that Don Southern kicked the winning field goal in the 1958 Rose Bowl for Ohio State.
What a great memory. I didn't think you were that old.
I can read. Golly. Going towards the end zone, back for Bobby Olive, and that pass will fall incomplete. Was it really 20 years ago that the Edmonton Eskimos began the run of 5 consecutive Grey Cups?
Yes, it was, and unfortunately, I was on the wrong end of one of them. Ronnie and I were, gosh, we had some tough battles with Edmonton in the mid-70s. It seemed like the Western Final was either going to be in Saskatchewan and Edmonton, and they had some terrific teams. And
yeah, not bad.
I still wake up about 3 in the morning, and I see Kepley coming at me.
Colley stepping in. On the run now. Look out. Oh, my goodness. Maurice Miller put him on the tee and drove him 300 yards. Whew. Yikes. You could see that coming from a mile away.
Well, to Mike Colley's credit, you know, he knew he could run, and he just said, look, I'm going to hang in and hope somebody gets open. I want a touchdown pass. And, you know.
Hey, Leaf, time for a top 5 list.
All right.
We have a little top 5 list.
Sure.
Okay? Top 5 reasons we're going to miss Leaf. It's because we're half as creative as Letterman.
No, they can't be.
Well, you know. So we're going to give you this in just a second here as Colley makes his way off. An angry Mike Colley making his way off the field as Prefontaine will come on to punt. Here's the top 5 reasons we'll miss Leaf. His passion for the CFL.
I like it.
Number 4, the telestrator. You might be able to take that home with you tonight.
They won't let me.
Number 3, strong opinion.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Not me.
You're very opinionated. Number 2, excellent analysis. And the number 1 reason we'll miss Leaf Penderson, perfect hair.
How did I know?
You know what, Leaf? I've known you for 15 years now, and I've always wanted to do this.
There you go. You couldn't do it.
Did hurt my hand.
Did you cut your hand?
It hurt my hand.
You guys, I knew the hair thing was coming. I was ready for it. I could handle it. Allie, they're being mean to me, aren't they, honey?
Yeah, she doesn't care. She's eating. Leave Allie alone.
Well, it's been fun, that's for sure. I knew that was coming.
Just over a minute to go as Jay Barker will help the Argos try to run out the clock here as Toronto will go to 4-4 on the season. Run the option here. Little Alabama play around the corner to Mike Clemens.
And Jay Barker threw a block. We saw that earlier this year where Jay Barker was very, very happy to get out and try and throw a block for one of his running backs, and he did that again for Clemens.
Interesting to note that another guy who used to run the option pretty well here in Toronto, Doug Flutie's in action tomorrow night with the Buffalo Bills in a preseason game against Pittsburgh. And a lot of talk this week in Buffalo about the fact that Flutie has been struggling in the preseason.
He has been struggling. I mean, it's going to be a different game for him. But you know what I know, Gordon? I saw a statistic the other day. Don't quote me on it. But of all the starting quarterbacks in the National Football League last year, I think 80% of them did not play all of the games due to injury. So at some point in time, Doug Flutie's pretty confident he's going to get his opportunity. And I'm sure he has a lot of critics to try and silence. But I know one thing. If desire and determination count for anything, he's going to have a shot, and when he gets his shot, he just has to make the most of it, and you know, I hope he does.
Alex Van Pelt is the other guy he's battling there for the second string job, and
Todd Collins
as well. And you know, you wonder if in Buffalo they're so tough on the quarterbacks. Jim Kelly probably had a Hall of Fame career down there, and he heard booing as often as cheering down there.
Well, it's no different in any league, and you know how many times have you and I and John Wells and I gone into an opening and said in Saskatchewan there's another quarterback in controversy. So everybody always loves to love number 2 and thinks that number 2 is going to be the messiah to your offense, and very rarely is that the case.
Most popular guy in sports is always the backup quarterback.
Absolutely.
Or the number 2 goaltender.
That's right.
They're all headed for the Hall of Fame before they have to do something. A delay here as Mike Philbrick was taken off injured. 1 minute exactly to go in the 4th quarter. Toronto-Hamilton rivalry renewed. What's interesting is the Argos are about to win their 7th straight against Hamilton. Last win for the Ticaps was a classic here. Matt Dunnigan versus Doug Flutie, the season opener in 1996.
And we did that game on TSN. That was a terrific football game. And I heard a story this week, and I'm not sure if it was 100% accurate, that Don Matthews had made a statement when he lost to Hamilton a number of years ago that when Paul Beeston was the president of the Argonauts, he'd made a statement that if he ever lost a game to Hamilton again, he would resign.
Yeah.
And that surfaced this week in the Toronto papers, made for some interesting reading and some interesting conversation around town. But when Matthews was asked about that quote, he kind of just said, no, I didn't really make that. But I always kind of thought it'd be kind of funny if they did lose to Hamilton to see, in fact, what he did.
You ever hear about the guy in the Philadelphia-Pittsburgh baseball game? The Phillies broadcaster had seen them blow 3 consecutive leads. They're up 8-0 after 3 innings and said if they blew the lead, he'd walk home. They lost. They lost 10-8, and he did it.
He did?
He had to walk home.
My goodness.
He did it in the offseason for charity.
Hope he had a new pair of shoes.
Parker will take a knee once more, and there'll be one more play in your broadcasting career and in this football game, which will see the Argos go on to a 42-6 win, a convincing victory that brings smiles all around for Kerwin Bell and the Argos. They are right back in the race in the Eastern Division as they improve their record to 4-4. Montreal, in action tomorrow night at Saskatchewan, is at 5-2 on the season.
Well, I mean, with this victory, they are back in the hunt, and congratulations to them. They played well and very deserving of their victory tonight. Kerwin Bell with a terrific effort, and you know, they've made it a race in the East again, and Hamilton just can't simply walk away with it.
Lancaster will make his way across the field and go back to the drawing board as the Argos record an impressive 42-6 win over the Hamilton Ticats. Back with more after this.